Good evening and welcome to the virtual college exploration for all North and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at CACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, CACRAO.org. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenters.
Hello and welcome to our CACRAO panel about unknown scholarships at private universities. My name is Sarah Worthington and I am an admissions counselor at Gardner-Webb University. We have a couple goals today. First of all, we just want to show you just how affordable private universities can be. And also we want to kickstart your knowledge in some of these scholarship opportunities. But before we get started, I would like everyone to introduce ourselves so that way you can put a face with a name. So I will go ahead and share my screen here. All right. So like I said, my name is Sarah and I work at Gardner-Webb University.
It is evening now. Good evening, everybody. My name is Adam Shilawat. I am an admissions counselor at Mercer University, which is located in Macon, Georgia.
Hey everyone, my name is Kelsey McGaha and I am an admissions counselor at Campbell University in Buies Creek, North Carolina.
Hey everybody, my name is Corey Deal. I'm an admissions counselor over at Brevard College in Brevard, North Carolina.
Great, thank you. Now we will be monitoring the Q&A chat throughout this presentation. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to send those our way. We will leave some time at the end to address those questions, but we will also provide our contact information if time does not allow us to answer all of those questions. That way we can make sure to follow up with you guys. So we will go ahead and get started. So yes, a private university does have a higher sticker price than a public university, but that doesn't mean that the net price will be higher for you once we go through the financial aid process. We are able to offer more scholarship and financial aid opportunities as a private institution. So Adam and Corey are going to share some of those financial aid opportunities for you guys to look for.
Hello. Thanks, Sarah. So the difference between sticker price and net price is kind of something that once you grasp, it'll be really easy to understand. So sticker price is going to really be what you see on the website. So estimated cost of attendance is, $20,000, $30,000 a year. Net price is something that's totally different. This is something that once you apply all of your scholarships, once you get your outside scholarships, FAFSA, if eligible, awarded info, all of these things kind of go inside of what your net price is. So sticker price is what you may expect at first, but net price is overall, bottom line, what you're paying. And there's a lot of ways to bring that net price down below the sticker price. So getting started, we're going to look at merit scholarships. And if you're wondering, well, what is a merit scholarship? Typically, these are university-funded scholarships, whether that's through athletics, arts, or academics. So you might be thinking of things such as student athletes, students involved in the arts, maybe even the moment you submit your application, you've already applied to a college, you've already applied to the scholarship by just applying to the college itself, which is very nice as well. So right off the bat, you might already be applying for a scholarship just through your application. And we'll talk about a little more what that means when we get into our individual universities. But one big difference you'll notice is in-state versus out-of-state tuition. Of course, when you're looking at in-state versus out-of-state, typically you'll see maybe in public universities a little bit of a large difference between what that might look like. So for example, if you're looking at a public institution in North or South Carolina, their in-state tuition might be a lot different than their out-of-state. Their out-of-state tuition might be a little bit higher, but their in-state might be a little lower because it may be a little closer to home. With private institutions, there's a lot more leeway with that. Some private institutions just offer a flat tuition rate. So what that means is there's no in-state tuition, there's no out-of-state tuition, there's just tuition. You also have merit-based aid and need-based aid opportunities. And what these are, similar to merit scholarships. So merit-based aid is, once again, kind of echoing what a merit scholarship is. And then need-based aid are things that come from your FAFSA. So what the FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. And so if you are eligible to fill it out, you may qualify for things such as, Pell Grant, SCOG grant. You may qualify to receive some subsidized or unsubsidized direct loans. And you may also qualify for specific state aids if your state does allow those scholarships. So there's a lot of different ways to go from sticker price to net price, being a nice happy medium. And we'll talk a lot more about what that is when I throw it over to Corey.
Hey, thanks, Adam. So I'm going to talk a little bit here about some additional aid opportunities that sometimes kind of get swept under the radar here. So the main thing I want to talk about here first is scholarship stacking. So some of you may or may not know what scholarship stacking is, but essentially what that is, it's going to be the ability to take some of those additional scholarships and add those on top of each other to reduce the cost there. So for example, if you received an honors program scholarship as well as an athletic scholarship, you could combine those to increase your financial aid there and lower that kind of out-of-pocket cost there for you, and that net price that we were talking about earlier. So scholarship stacking is really important if you're working to collect some outside scholarships or any sort of merit or honors awards, things like that. Those are always great ways to kind of add those on top there. So speaking of outside scholarships, kind of looking down there, you'll see the listed fastweb.com. There's definitely a lot of great scholarship sites out there to look around. That's one it's like the monster of finding scholarships essentially. So that will help you kind of find different outside scholarships that are related to any sort of field or interest, whatever you are interested in. There's scholarships tailored to you there. Some other places to look around are your local community. So things like any sort of religious groups that you might be a part of, athletic groups you might be a part of, things like that. I always recommend reaching out to them, even sometimes businesses that you work for, families work for, things like that. There's a lot of unclaimed scholarships each year that are available for students. So I always recommend reaching out, kind of seeing what's available, and trying to get some of that additional aid to stack there for you. Some additional benefits that are more specific there. So military benefits, if you have any veterans in your family, that's always one that's worth reaching out to your VA representative at the school you're interested in. All of our colleges here should have a VA representative that will help you kind of work through those different financial aid awards that are available for you through that. Last but not least, we do have work study opportunities at our colleges here available as well. So it's going to be essentially a job on campus that will help you to kind of reduce that overall cost for you as well there. So you'd work a certain amount of hours each week, and then that would kind of help to lower that cost there for you. But those are kind of just some additional aid opportunities, but I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Kelsey here, and she's going to talk a little bit more about public and private institutions and the in-state versus out-of-state rates there.
All right, so you're going to see here when we're comparing schools that you have both College A and College B as examples. College A is a large state school in Texas. It's public. If you are from Texas, pretend that this school is in a state other than Texas. The in-state tuition of that large state school in Texas is $13,000. College B is a small liberal arts school that's in your town, and it's private because it's a liberal arts school. The tuition there is $40,000. When you look at the sticker price of each of these options, which one would you choose from a financial standpoint? So without that bottom half that's up right now, if you're just looking at that top half, without doing any further research, you're going to choose College A because it's $13,000 and College B is $40,000. So after you do additional research and we look at that bottom section once again, we find out that since College A is out of state, tuition for out of state residents is $31,000, which is much closer to College B's sticker price. We also find out that College B offers merit scholarships to every student that's accepted at an average of $22,000 per year. Now we have a better picture of the financial cost involved for both schools. So the rough cost to attend College A would be $31,000, and the rough cost of attending College B would be $18,000. Further research would also include travel costs added to College A, since it is somewhere that is in a different state, And then you also would have cost savings if the student goes to college B and they commute from home since it's in their town. Remember that you should compare tuition, available scholarships, living expenses, and more instead of just looking at the sticker price.
Thanks, Kelsey. So now we're going to dive into university-specific scholarships. So if you guys want to take pictures of these next few slides, that way you can go back and look into these specific scholarships, you're more than welcome to. So like I said earlier, I work at Gardner-Webb University in North Carolina. We're in Boiling Springs, North Carolina, which is about an hour west of Charlotte. And these are some of our scholarship opportunities for you guys, for incoming freshmen. So we start with the merit scholarship that we talked about earlier, that students are awarded when they're accepted into the university. And then we add FAFSA, just like every other school does, and that is income-based, and that creates your financial aid package. Now, these are some other scholarships that you can apply for if you want some of this additional aid. So the Tucker Heart, Soul, Mind, Strength Scholarship, that is a service-based, it's a heart-based scholarship. That's for students who see a need in their community and rise to meet that need. And we award one student a full comprehensive scholarship. So tuition, room and board, and all required fees are included in this scholarship for 4 years. So if you're interested in this, ask someone to nominate you. That can be a youth pastor, a teacher, any community member can nominate you for this scholarship, and then we will send you the application and go from there. Then we have our Ignite Excellence Scholarship, which is our academically based scholarship. As your admissions counselor, when I see your application come through, I look for a 3.8 GPA, either a 1200 SAT or a 25 ACT, and then I will nominate you for that scholarship and then send you the application, and we'll talk about that process from there on. So we look for those academic requirements, and we'll go from there. Then we have our Minister's Dependent Scholarship. This is for any student who whose parents or whose grandparents are a full-time minister or an ordained minister. It can be any Christian church, Baptist, Lutheran, Methodist, any Christian church. You can, if your parent or grandparent is a full-time minister, you would receive up to $5,500 every year. Then we have our church matching scholarship. So this is a scholarship that if your church sends you to school with a scholarship, whether that's $500 or $5,000, we will match that. So you actually come to school with double that amount. So we will match it up to the cost of tuition. And again, any Christian church, it does not matter what denomination. Then we have our Legacy Grant, which is for students whose parents, grandparents, or siblings graduated from Gardner-Webb. You would qualify for that every year as well. Then we get into our specific scholarships. So we have major specific scholarships on our website that are posted also. So for example, if you major in business, there are business specific scholarships. Then we have the forgivable education loans for service. Depending on what schools you're looking at, definitely ask them about this, because forgivable loans are the type of loans that you want. So we accept these for teachers, so education majors, and also for nurses, if you want to go into nursing. So you basically take out a loan, and then if you satisfy the requirements like teaching in the state of North Carolina or working in a hospital in North Carolina for so many years after graduation, these loans are forgiven, and so it acts like a scholarship. Then we have our Foothills Commitment, which applies to Cleveland, Gaston, Lincoln, and Rutherford counties. So for these students, they qualify for 50% of the cost of tuition in financial aid. The only requirements are that you complete a FAFSA and you live on campus. So if you are accepted into the university and you're a first-time freshman living in these counties, you do qualify for the Foothills Commitment as well. Then we have our talent-based scholarships. So we are a Division I school. We have 22 Division I athletic teams on campus. So if you're interested in pursuing athletics after high school, feel free to go ahead and do so. Those athletic scholarships are determined by the coaches, and those are talent-based. Then we have our music major scholarships. So if you major in one of the programs in our music department, you can audition for these scholarships. Again, the amount is audition based. And then we have ensemble scholarships, which are for students who are in our orchestra or choir group, marching band, things like that, but are not majoring in music. So even if you don't study music, you can still be a part of these groups and receive financial aid for it. So I know that's a lot of information. You don't have to remember it all, which is why you can take a picture of this. But any outside scholarships like we've talked about, you can also bring those in and stack these on, or stack those on top of these scholarships as well. But I will go ahead and turn it over to Adam to talk about Mercer University.
All right, and the information shall continue. We know this is a lot of information, like Sarah said, so don't be overwhelmed by all of this. Like she said, please take pictures of it. And also, you are more than welcome to reach out to us individually if you have specific questions, if there's anything that confuses you about these. Like we said, we know that there's a lot of private opportunities for scholarships at private institutions, but we don't expect you to, understand every single one that we've talked about all the way through, considering, we work with these every day. So feel free to ask questions with us. If there's anything in the chat you have questions about, please do. But I will go ahead and get on to what we have to offer at Mercer University. And I kind of mentioned this already. We are actually a school located in Macon, Georgia. If you know where Atlanta's at, we're about an hour and 30-ish minutes south down I-75. So right smack in the middle of Georgia, we have a lot of opportunities for out-of-state students with scholarships, and I want to go ahead and go over what those are now. So similar to what Sarah mentioned, and you'll see a lot of these with private institutions, is that we have academic merit scholarships. As of right now, they range up to $22,000 a year, and they are renewable for up to 4 years. We also have talent-based scholarships. So, Division I athletics, we have 18 men's and women's Division I teams here. Fun fact for y'all, we're the only private D1 school in the state of Georgia. So if you take anything from the presentation, that is a great fun fact. We also have music scholarships as well as ensemble scholarships. So talent-based scholarships in the arts are with athletics. We also offer need-based scholarships through FAFSA, free application for federal student aid, via work study, Pell SEOG grant, federal direct loans, things of that nature. So if you're eligible to fill out the FAFSA, it drops on October 1st. So sooner than later is always your best bet on when should I fill it out with a lot of things. And you'll kind of see that through a lot of these scholarship opportunities too. Some of them only happen, at the beginning of the year versus in late springtime. So keep those in mind as well as you're taking these into account, not only for Mercer, but also for the other schools that are speaking as well. We also have some scholarship competitions. So we have some major specific competitions, such for students looking to study business, engineering, or journalism or media studies. If you're interested in any major that's underneath this college or major, you are eligible to come to this scholarship competition. Typically, these events are going to be on-campus opportunities, so it's kind of a 2-for-1. If you want to visit campus as well as compete for a scholarship opportunity, I would say it could potentially be the most lucrative 15-20-minute interview of your life. So definitely be sure to check these opportunities out if you are interested in studying any of these programs for any of our schools that are presenting today. These are great opportunities that a lot of other schools may not offer. We also have some invite-only scholarship competitions. These two ones that you're looking at right now, they are contingent upon application deadlines. So again, looking at when should I apply? When should I start checking into these things? It's great that y'all are here today. That way you're getting this information early on. You're going to be able to use it later, apply for college earlier, get scholarship opportunities earlier on. So we have Presidential Scholars Weekend for students that apply and get all their application materials into us by November 15th. So about 2 months from tomorrow. So you have time. And then also we have Heritage Scholars Day for students that meet the February 1st deadline. So if you miss the first deadline, there's some to come after that. These scholarship opportunities, invite only as well as major specific, all of these are ways to increase your current merit scholarship. So with Mercer, over 90% of students that are admitted get academic merit scholarships. So I'm not saying if you get in, you will get one for sure, but there's a very high chance you will. And so these are great ways to increase that, whether it be a major specific competition or an invite only. if you are eligible to come to both or two of these scholarship competitions, go to them. Not just for us, but for every school. Any opportunity you have to get an opportunity in scholarship, please take advantage of it. If there are any parents listening to this webinar as well, you might be nodding your head. It's a great opportunity. I promise you, you will not regret it. We also accept outside scholarships. These are, like they said before, able to be stacked on top of whatever scholarships you're bringing in. But with outside scholarships, we can legally only use them the way that the scholarship tells us to. So if they just give you a check and they say, have fun, spend it on what you like, we can do that. Or if they say this scholarship, outside scholarship, is only applicable towards tuition or only applicable towards this or that. Legally, the university has to abide by what the outside scholarship is offering for you. And as Corey mentioned earlier in the presentation, we also have military benefits for you and your family. However, we don't know if you're in the military unless you tell us. So connect with your counselor. We are happy to connect you with our VAA rep. But those are the opportunities that we have here at Mercer University. And I will go ahead and throw it back to you, Kelsey.
Thanks, Adam. So at Campbell University in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina, we offer merit scholarships to every student that's accepted into the university. These merit scholarships are sometimes referred to as academic scholarships as well. So if you see that term, it is typically the same thing as your merit scholarship. They're based on your performance through your junior year of high school. We do look at the entire application for your admission, but then for the merit scholarship amount, we look at your unweighted GPA and your SAT or ACT scores, although we are currently offering a test flex option due to COVID. So more information about that option can definitely be found on our application as well if you're interested. But this year, we're offering a new grant that is need-based, and it's offered from the university. So that's that institutional need-based grant. And so that will be based off of your FAFSA information that we receive. And that merit scholarship breakdown, it includes money that's allocated just towards tuition, and then money that's allocated just towards on-campus housing. So whether it's Campbell or another school, it's really good to ask those schools, what is the breakdown of that merit scholarship? Especially if you're going to commute to the school or something like that, because then obviously you wouldn't receive that housing portion of the scholarship. You would only receive the portion that is allotted towards tuition. The merit scholarships are available for all 4 years of undergraduate study, as long as the student maintains at least a collegiate GPA of a 2.5. If students are invited to join our honors program and decide to join, they will receive an additional scholarship for housing as well. Campbell Athletics also award a lot of athletic scholarships to students as well. So students that major or minor in music are also eligible for additional scholarships. And then students that are in marching band and or pep band, those students are also eligible for scholarships. Within your various academic departments, we offer endowed scholarships. And those are scholarships that you apply for on our website through our financial aid page. And sponsored scholarships are also another option that you will see on our financial page. All of these scholarships can be stacked or combined, but they can't exceed the cost of tuition. We do accept any outside scholarships and military benefits as well, but beyond those scholarships, students can accept awards from their financial aid package, including work study if you're eligible for that. So your financial aid package at each school will determine if you are eligible for the work study option. And a lot of our schools, like Corey said earlier, have those military departments on campus. So we have a Veterans Affairs office, and they're really the experts when it comes to military benefits. Your admissions counselor at any of the schools that you're interested in can help you guide you in those different directions to who you need to talk to. But for the most part, all of your admissions counselors at all the different schools know enough about your financial aid package, FAFSA, scholarships, grants, all of that, to definitely help you get a good grasp on that information. And then if you need specifics, if you want to talk about interest rates and those types of things, you can definitely ask the counselor and they can connect you with those financial aid departments with the Veterans Affairs Department and those types of things. So that's a little bit of good information about Campbell and our scholarships that we offer. And now I'm going to turn it over to Corey from Brevard College.
Thanks, Kelsey. So I'm going to go into a quick breakdown here about some of the different Brevard College aid that we have available here. So starting out with kind of our biggest award that we have is our half tuition scholarship. So this will be for any North and South Carolina residents. Half tuition will automatically be applied upon being accepted to the college. So that's a really nice chunk out of the college tuition there, cost there, and just chops that tuition right in half. For anyone not in North and South Carolina, we do have a merit scholarship available as well. And that's going to come from based on your GPA and test scores there as to where that falls in the range of 10 to 13,000 there. So definitely some really good opportunities for both our North Carolina and South Carolina residents, as well as our out of state here residents here too. So those are kind of our main ones that we have going on here. Next but not least is going to be our early enrollment fee grant. So essentially what that is it's a grant that will secure your spot here at the Brevard College. So it'll lock in priority class registration, it'll lock in your spot in housing, it'll lock in a nice early enrollment fee grant there as well, about $1,500 per year there. So that's another really kind of good way to secure your spot at the college, as well as earn a little bit of extra scholarship and aid there. Kind of looking down, we'll start out with the Scholarship Day Award. So essentially what that is it's going to be about a 10 to 15 minute interview. I believe we'll be doing it online this year, but it'll be with some of our faculty and staff. And out of that, there's a potential for up to $2,000 scholarship per year from that interview. So, in about 10, 15 minutes of your time for almost up to $8,000 throughout your time here at the college. So, really nice kind of return on time there, and definitely something we'd recommend if you're interested in Brevard. At that same day, you could also actually do an honors program scholarship interview there as well. So it'd be a kind of short interview there as well for, a potential honors program scholarship if you're interested in going that honors route and taking some of those honors courses and things like that. We also do have an Institute for Women in Leadership scholarship. That's a really cool program for any women that are interested in kind of having a great group to kind of work things out, talk about, goals, things like that. It does come with a scholarship there as well. Looking over on the other side, we've got the fine arts side of things there, of course. So we've got, if you're interested in any sort of music, art, theater, even drumline, we have scholarships for all those available. So for both music and theater and the drumline as well, there are going to be it's kind of brief interviews going on, as well as they want to hear some of your talents, things like that. And then the art will just need a brief portfolio to kind of get an idea of your talents and things like that. But those would all have scholarships that go along with those there as well. And then, of course, like we had mentioned earlier, we do, of course, accept any sort of outside scholarships that you've been applying for, any sort of military benefits. We have a VA representative here that can get those worked out for you. And then if you've applied for the FAFSA, that's where we'd look at getting any sort of student loans or the need-based grants, things like that we've been talking about. And then, of course, work study there as well. So definitely, if you're interested in any of these sort of aid scholarships, grants, things like that, definitely make sure to reach out to your admissions counselors, and we'll be able to kind of help you talk through the process and kind of get those applied there for you. But I'm going to pass it back over to Sarah, and she'll go ahead and kind of talk about, give you all our information for phone numbers, emails, all that kind of fun stuff there.
Yeah, thank you, Corey. So just to touch base with you guys, this is our last slide, so we'll give you just a couple more minutes to throw in any last minute questions in the Q&A if you have them. This is our contact information for each one of us at our universities. So that way, you can take a picture of this too. So if you have any follow-up questions or want to have a more in-depth conversation, you can. But I did want to point out just a couple things. One thing that some families ask when they come to visit campus are, what questions should we be asking, and what are we not asking that we should? I would say my number one piece of advice as you enter into this college admissions process and the financial aid process is to communicate with your admissions counselor. So we're going to be best friends when you apply to these universities. We're the ones who can point you in the right direction. We're kind of your point of contact for the rest of the university as you get to know your options at the schools. So for example, I know Gardner-Webb has marching band scholarships, and I've heard that a couple times at some other schools too. You know, we don't know that you're in the marching band if you don't tell us. So we want you to come audition, and we want you to have that opportunity for a scholarship, but tell us that. Tell us what you're interested in, what groups you're a part of at school, any extracurriculars, things like that. Because your admissions counselor at those schools, we're going to be your point of contact. We'll be able to point you in the right direction for those opportunities. So that's my #1 piece of advice as you start through this process. Also, another good idea too is if the schools that you look at offer any kind of financial aid meetings, attend them, because every little bit helps when you're thinking about paying for college. So if you know there is a FAFSA night that's available either at school or through a university, do that, because you will gather some more information that will just help you plan for that expense, you know, a year from now. So that would be great for you to apply for or sign up for if that's offered. But anyway, sorry, one question. Okay. But yes, so really just communicate with your admissions counselor. You guys have our contact information now, so if you have any follow-up questions from the financial aid opportunities that we discussed either today, or if you have any questions about anything else, please feel free to contact us. But we really appreciate you guys Zooming in today and hanging out with us at our virtual CACRAO. But anyway, I hope you guys found this information helpful, and just want to wish you guys luck in your college admissions process. All right. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at CACRAO.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording, as well as all of the other session recordings at CACRAO.org. Thank you and have a great day.